There's a stretch of highway in Maricopa County, Arizona, where the GPS cuts out and the radio fills with static. Locals don't stop there. They know better. But if you're not from around here, if you're tired and the sun's gone down and that old neon sign buzzes to life just as you're thinking you can't drive another mile, you might pull in. You might check into the Dusty Mile Motel. And the man behind the counter, he'll give you a key to any room you want. Any room except 9. Unless 9 is the only one he's got left. Nora had planned to sleep in her car. She'd done it before, preferred it most times. Less to feel, less to explain. But the desert at night is something else entirely. The silence out here isn't peaceful. It's expectant. The Dusty Mile had 12 rooms. 11 were clean, occupied, or closed for maintenance. Room 9 was available. Earl Pruitt slid the key across the counter without looking at her face. He looked at her hands. Specifically, he looked at her camera. No photos inside the room, he said. House rule. Nora thought that was the strangest rule she'd ever heard. She agreed anyway. The first sign wasn't inside the room. It was outside it. Nora noticed the walkway had been repoured. A fresh slab of concrete directly in front of room 9's door, mismatched and slightly raised, like something had been buried there, or something had broken through. Mira had been watching her from the laundry room doorway for 5 minutes before Nora finally noticed. "You see it too?" Mira said. Not a question. "What happened to the concrete?" Nora asked. Mira shrugged. "Uncle Earl says it's settled. Always settling, he says. Every couple years." She paused. "It's settled 4 times since I was a kid." 4 times. Nora raised her camera. Behind her, the light inside room 9 clicked on. She hadn't touched the switch. She didn't plan to sleep. She told herself she'd just rest until 3, then drive before the heat came back. The room smelled like cedar, and something underneath it, old and mineral, like cave water or stone. The painting on the wall was wrong. She couldn't explain how she knew, just that looking at it made her mouth dry. She lifted it off the nail. Behind it, sealed with drywall compound and painted over in the same cream color as the rest, a door. Not a closet, too narrow. Not a window, too tall. A door to somewhere. And at the bottom of it, in the gap between the door and the floor, air was moving. Something breathed on the other side. Thomas Vela hadn't planned to get involved. He checked into room 7, laid out his road atlas, and told himself this time was different. This time he was just passing through. But when Nora knocked on his door at midnight, her face the color of old chalk, he didn't hesitate. He pressed his ear to the wall beside room 9's door, listened. Breathing, slow and deliberate, like something that had all the time in the world. And under that, a voice. Not words, not quite. More like a voice remembering how words worked. Tomas pulled back from the wall, looked at her. 4 years ago, he said quietly, a man named Gerald Oakes checked into this room. 3 days later, the room was empty. His car was in the lot. His wallet was on the bed. "Where did he go?" Nora asked. Tomas said nothing. That was the answer. Earl Pruitt's kitchen wall told 31 years of history. Names, dates, room assignments. The ones crossed out in red, those were the guests who'd stayed in room 9. Not all of them were crossed out. Most were. I don't choose who goes in there, Earl said. His voice was careful, the way old glass is careful, thin and brittle and aware of what it's holding. It chooses. Always has. What is it? Nora asked. Earl slid the shoebox across the table. Inside, a stack of Polaroids. Each one showed room 9. Empty, perfectly made bed, same faded painting on the wall. Except in one corner of every photo, a shadow that didn't match any light source in the room. I had a priest out here in '98, Earl said. A professor in 2004, a paranormal team in 2011. He picked up his mug. Room's still there. What happened to them? Tomas asked. Earl's eyes moved to the wall, to the red marks. He didn't answer. Mira pulled out her phone like it was something she'd been carrying for years without knowing how to put down. I found this in my cloud backup last month, she said. I didn't remember filming it. The video showed Mira in room 9, 3 years younger, standing perfectly still, facing the door behind the painting. Her arm was raised. Her hand was almost touching it. Then, static. Then, Mira on the walkway outside. Daylight. Motionless. 4 hours and 11 minutes gone from the timestamp. I woke up outside, Mira said quietly. Uncle Earl was kneeling over me. He was crying. Nora watched the video again. In the background, just behind Mira's shoulder, the painting on the wall had moved. Slightly. Just enough to show the outline of the door. And the door's handle, it was moving. From the inside. Room 9's door was open. None of them had a key. The light inside was wrong. Deep and amber, like light filtered through old blood. The kind of light that makes you think you're in a photograph instead of a room. Earl's voice cracked across the parking lot. Don't go in. Do not go in. But Nora's feet were already moving. Later, she couldn't explain it. Not to Tomas, not to the county sheriff's deputy who showed up at 4 a.m. She'd say she felt pulled, like a tide. From inside room 9, loud enough to hear from the parking lot. A sound. Not a voice. Not a scream. Something in between. Something old. Something that knew her name. She was standing at the door when Tomas reached her, both palms flat against the plaster. The wall was vibrating. Nora. His voice was steady. He'd spent years learning that voice, the one that didn't let panic in. Step back from the wall. She turned slowly. Her eyes were red, not from crying, something else. I've been here before, she said. I don't remember it, but I've been here. The plaster behind her hand began to crack, a fine web spreading outward like frost on glass. Tomas grabbed her arm and pulled. The room screamed. No other word for it. A sound that filled the bones before the ears. Low and vast and ancient. He pulled her through the door just as the lamp went out. The parking lot lights came back on. Behind them, room 9's door swung closed. And locked. Dawn came slowly, the way it does in the desert, reluctantly, like even the sun didn't want to see what was out there. Earl told them about the original owner, a man named Harlan Wick, who'd built the motel in 1961 on land the county surveyors had flagged as unsuitable, without specifying why. Harlan had dug the foundation himself, said he found a room already there, underground, sealed. He built around it. He called it Room 9 because it seemed like the right number. He disappeared in 1973. Nora's camera was cracked through the lens. Every photo she'd taken inside Room 9 was overexposed. White. Total white. Except one. One photo. Clear and sharp. Showing the room from the corner near the ceiling. Showing Nora standing at the door. She hadn't taken that photo. She'd been facing the other direction. She drove until the motel was 40 miles behind her. Then 60. Then she stopped counting. At a gas station outside Tucson, she checked her phone. Outgoing call. 3:04 a.m. 47 minutes. A number she'd never dialed. She pulled the call up. Listened to what she'd said. Her own voice, calm and flat, speaking an address. An address she didn't know. Her own home address. She looked in the rearview mirror. The brass key with the 9 stamped into it was lying on the back seat. Earl had taken her key when she left. She'd watched him do it. Room 9 doesn't stay at the motel. Room 9 comes home with you.